It is now our pleasure to welcome in live to the show over Zoom the head football coach at Brigham Young University through at least 2027, Kalani Sitake. Coach, great to have you on a Monday. How was your weekend?
It was great. Yeah, I had a great time, and I'm sorry about the lighting here, guys. I just have to say, they said the lighting is not the best, but I think it's perfect.
They used all the lighting funds on your new contract, I guess, right?
Wow, I knew it wouldn't take you long, Jarom. So, yeah.
Coach, in all seriousness, congratulations on working it out. I know that there was a lot of stress across the BYU fan base at the thought of losing their beloved coach. So for this all to come together, and now that you've had the weekend to think about it, what are your emotions on a day like today?
I'm just really happy for the program, and more than anything, just focused on the players and getting them ready for this bowl game. But everything that happened over the last few days, the last couple of weeks have been just focused on trying to get this program as good as we need to be to compete. And so it's getting the needed resources for our players and also for our coaching staff and support staff. So that's been the key. And I think my goal is to make all the fans happy. And so I think they want a high caliber team that can go out there and compete. And there's some of the little things, the little details. We talk about details in the game of football can help you win, where there's a lot of details that goes into the operations of everything that I think would make things a lot easier for us to function. And I feel really good about where we're at right now, going into this bowl game and also prepping to go into the 2022 season.
So are we talking about adding staff members to different parts of the program like you talked about and paying them more? What are we talking about there?
Yeah, I think the key is to add more resources. I think there's a lot of guys that can do so many different things, and we wear a bunch of hats here. But I think if we can keep focused on just basically maximizing the opportunities and the roles that they have, so that we can really master that. That's the key. And then also retaining our staff. I think not having anyone leave just because of money, that's something that I think would be really important for us in order to keep things rolling. If you look at teams that have had a lot of success, it's come down to a stability. And so, and you can go throughout all the different organizations and franchises and teams that are competitive. Those that win are usually those that don't have a lot of turnover, a lot of change. And so we're trying to keep our group here and keep our culture as strong as possible. And that means retaining the best people around us. I mean, this is not a one-man job. I'm here because of all the wonderful people that work and sacrifice for our program and all the players. And so I think it's key for us to do all the little things right in order to make all the fans happy. And I think the fans, Cougar Nation has high expectations. I just want to make sure that we match them.
Coach, I don't know how much you were aware or are aware of how the fans rallied on social media, and that included your players late in the last part of the week. What does it mean to you to hear about that and feel their love and support when it is up in the air and then eventually it does come together?
Well, I think I have so much appreciation for all our players and so much love for them. And then you know how I feel about the fans. And so I don't do a lot of social media stuff, but people can still get a hold of me. And so I have family members and friends and coaches that are on social media, and they just keep talking about the wonderful support that we get. And I just came to a point where it's like, let's stop making people worry so much about things. And by people, the fans that we love and care about so much, but also the players. I want the players to be focused on this game, focused on performing and getting better in the bowl prep. I think there's a lot of growth and development that needs to happen. And I think the sooner that we can get this thing ironed out, the better. And that's why there's such a sense of urgency from me to get this thing taken care of as quickly as possible. So I didn't want people to worry about it.
What role did this season have in this new contract versus last season? Last season, certainly incredible. The critics were talking about the schedule. You validated it with this year. So what role did this year have to do with sort of the interest from other schools like Oregon and Washington and others versus, okay, let's lock me in longer and let's go into the Big 12 together?
I mean, rather than talking about interest from other schools, I think the thing that changed the most was the invite to the Big 12. I think how do I say it? There's a lot of things that needed to happen that you always want to improve on, and we knew that there's some limited, and that we know there were some limitations here, and a lot of it had to do with the resources, the budgets, things like that, and with the invite to the Big 12, I felt like there's really no excuse now. Now we have to go after it and then I don't want to wait. And I know a lot of people don't want to wait. We want to perform and be as good as we possibly can. The season is just a combination of just hard work and young players stepping up and showing off our depth a little bit. Like I said, I don't want to rely on our depth, but it's nice to know that we have a lot of players that can step up and play. Considering all the production that we lost, everyone kept talking about how we lost so much production from last year to this year. Yeah, that's tough when you lose the number 2 overall pick in the NFL draft. But if you think about it, it's those 13 individuals, the 5 draft picks and the 8 free agents that signed. If all those guys came back, then it would have been a different team. But the prep for the bowl game last year against UCF allowed us to get our team ready and in a faster rate. And I'm planning on that happening again and having our guys be focused. That's why the urgency to get everything ironed out and get it taken care of with the contracts and retaining everybody as many players and coaches as we can is really important for us going into the 22 season.
So are you alluding to the increased revenue from the Big 12, at least in the first 2 years, and then we'll see what the next contract is in 25, would, in your mind, give BYU an opportunity to increase those resources perhaps sooner than normal?
I believe so. I mean, I have some background in it. I was at Utah when we went from Mountain West to the Pac-12, and so I saw some of the things in the transitions that were made and adjustments that were made into going into that. But in that aspect, we had a little bit more time, and here the time is a lot. I mean, there's one season in between, one season away from going into that conference now, and so I think. There's a sense of urgency to do it quicker and to try to do it maybe as fast as possible, but within the parameters of how we function, being a church school and knowing the situation that we're in, where we're looking at it from, we went into it right during the season. So the timing is a little different than what it was when I was at Utah, but more than anything, I saw the increase in revenue and the increase in opportunities, meaning, retaining staff with salaries, but also adding needed resources that other P5 programs have.
BYU head football coach Kalani Sitake with us on BYU Sports Nation. I'm glad you brought up your experience at Utah, watching that program transition from Group of 5 to Power 5, because I made a very strong point on the show that I feel like it is imperative that BYU retain you for that, because you have gone through it and you have touched on it lightly. But how else will going through that at Utah help you now in your unique position at BYU, transitioning the Cougars from an independent state into a Power 5 conference?
Well, I mean, the experience is one thing, so knowing what we went through when I was at the U with Kyle, and I sat in a lot of meetings and I looked at things and how we did it. And so I have some thoughts on what I thought we did that went well there, and probably what we can do here, and what actually what actually can be done compared to here to there, and I think in some ways there's some things that we can do a little bit quicker, and then there's other things that I think will take some time. But I know exactly some of the situations, whether it's recruiting. For me, it's the football team, but there's also all the operations, all the budget concerns, travel, everything that goes into it. There's high expectation to perform during the season, and in order to get that done and to be at our best, I always talk about performing at our best. And I know what's coming in 2023, and I know what we have to do in the transition in 2022. And so we're trying to get that done as soon as possible. And I think having been able to have that experience of going through it already, and being, I was there with Coach Whittingham. I saw some of the things that were said, done, plans, and they were really cool. So I'm excited for this transition going to the Big 12.
Okay, let's talk about Wednesday. Huge day for the program. Early signing day. I know you guys are hoping to get a ton done on that day. Have you targeted any specific position groups you need to address right now?
Yeah, we're just trying to add to the depth of the team, and more than anything, it's the character of our players matter the most, and we know that a lot of these young men have gone through, a good number have gone through some adversity in their seasons, but what I really like the most is the leadership that I see from them within their own programs in high school. And so to see them commit to us, and a lot of them's been loyal to us from the very beginning. I've seen some development in them already, and so I see the potential in them as football players, but it's also the potential that I see in them and adding to our culture, adding to our depth, and then being a vital part of our program.
Coach Sitake on BYU Sports Nation. I know that the only recruiting is not happening at the high school level. I'm thinking about guys like Tyler Algier and Gunnar Romney, perhaps some other guys that are thinking about moving on, Neil Pa'u. How much recruiting is being worked on with those guys to maybe convince them to come back for what could be a special 2022 run?
Well, there's a lot of talking, and the communication matters, but it needs to be their idea to come back if they want to do this right. I don't think it's going to be us giving them all the reasons. I think once they figure it out and they're committed to doing it and being here, whether it's here or going to the NFL, it needs to be their motivation. I don't want any of them to come back feeling that they got asked to do it and then they're only doing it just for the team. But I know that the fans will help us out on that. But for me, I want commitment, because there's a lot of development from those guys too. So they can be better in a year from now playing for us. Then I'm going to need them to be all in and all bought in, and it has to come from them. But I can give them as much information as possible. And there's a lot of guys that left that they wish they would have been on our sideline when we had big wins against Utah and big wins against ASU. So there's other people that they can talk to that are in the NFL right now, and they can probably say, hey, what was it like for you? And I plan on our alumni being, I think they already know what I want, and they already know what the fans want, but maybe they should talk to the individuals that got drafted and the individuals that are in the NFL and free agent deals that are on practice squads, and see if they could do it all over again, would they do it or would they stay? But college football is so awesome. There's nothing like it. And so you might as well keep that baby going as long as you can.
And hey, Notre Dame and Oregon and Arkansas, that all sounds pretty fun next year. So Tyler Algier, come back, please. Chris Wilcox last year.
And hanging out with you guys, and being on Sports Nation and seeing you guys more. So that's all that matters. But it's also the fans. I've talked to a lot of the guys in the NFL. They miss hanging out with the fans, and they love going and playing games and then having our fans at the games. You know what I mean? But there's nothing like it when you're wearing the Y and you're playing and representing. So I think we have such a powerful fan base, and I think even sometimes the players even take that for granted sometimes. And when it's not there, I know they'll miss it. So you might as well just stick around and hang out and try to do as much as we can here.
We'll clip that off and send it to Tyler later. Chris Wilcox opted out of the Boca Raton Bowl last year. Is everyone planning on playing this year?
Yep, everyone's planning on playing. I don't blame Chris for that, but it was a good opportunity for the young guys to step up and fill in and cover some really athletic receivers against UCF. And UAB's got a lot of talent, a lot of ability on their side too. So it's going to be great for our guys to get out there and play. But as far as I from what we were going into this game, we leave tomorrow. Everybody that's healthy will play.
Coach, UAB does a lot of things well. Probably at the top of that list is their rush defense, which is number 11 in the country right now. And in talking with some of your guys, they have pointed out, look, they got dudes, they can play. What have you seen on film from UAB that gives you the greatest pause or greatest concern as you prepare for that team in the bowl game?
Really well coached team. Bill Clark's got a great reputation of having his team ready and assignment sound football, and you watch them on film, there's not a lot of mistakes that happen. And then defensively, you're right, they take away the run, and so they try to keep you, a one-way team. And for us, we need to be able to run and pass. We need to do all of it. That's imperative to our success on offense. And for our defense, it's going to be a difficult match because they can run the ball, but they also can take shots down the field. So it's I think they're the type of matchup that can, they can possess the ball and try to keep our offense off the field. And I think that's we're anticipating that's going to be their plan. So we need to do whatever we can on the defensive end to create some havoc and possibly get some favor in the turnover margin, and then get the ball back to our offense and let our offense do their deal. But it's going to be harder than what people think. But anytime you challenge our offense, they seem to really answer the call. So I'm looking forward to seeing them play the game on Saturday.
Coach, we appreciate your genuine responses and the extra time today. You were the highest-ranked team to play in the Boca Raton Bowl a year ago in that bowl game's history. You're going to do the same in the Independence Bowl as the number 13 team in the country. And from what we hear, the Cajun Creole on the Tex-Mex is next level in Shreveport. So we're doing our best to find specific joints so that we can get you and your guys taken care of, at least food-wise.
Hey, these guys are really excited to be out there in Shreveport. They're really excited about this game. I know, and we're really excited about playing UAB. So our guys are not have not lost focus. They are a grateful group, and we really appreciate the opportunity to play this game and do it in front of our fans. So we're looking forward to getting out there. And then the added bonus is we get to eat some food, and the head coach gets to gain some weight. So here we go.
Start the holiday weight gain early. I'm with you on that train, man. Let's go. Let's give you some BYU Sports Nation karma for a nice, smooth travel to Shreveport, and obviously to win the game against UAB. We appreciate you, Kalani. Thanks so much.
Love you guys. Go Cougs.